Hey, my lovely goal-getters. Welcome to the Moms Making Money Show. I'm your host, Amie Pederson, business mentor and confidence coach for the emerging boss mom. It's my mission to help amazing women just like you up-level yourself and your business because you are meant for more than wiping boogers and folding laundry. I'm also a wife, mother, urban farmer, influencer, green juice enthusiast, and an unapologetic lover of cowboy boots. I can't wait to help you grow your business by sharing my tips, tricks, proven business strategy, experience, and incredible guests. Hang on tight and enjoy the show. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends and educational partners, HoneyBook. HoneyBook is an amazing service for creatives, visionaries, coaches, and business owners just like us. And the best part about HoneyBook, they're super easy to use, they're so super affordable, and they even come with a contract template specified to the type of industry that we're in that we're free to use and send to our clients. So basically what HoneyBook does is it helps automate the onboarding process. So I use this process for any one-on-one clients. I use this process for my mastermind clients. I use this process for events. This is something I use for everything other than like a self-study course. Anything that I want them to be able to have a payment plan for, and also to, if there's any kind of contractual agreement. So a lot of times you'll want somebody to sign a contract for your terms of use, your terms and conditions, and the terms of your agreement with one another. So this makes it super easy. So when you get somebody to sign up with you and they're like, heck yeah, I'm all in. Where do I sign up? Where do I start? You just get their email address, you enter in their custom program, or you can save a template if you have one that's always the same price, always the same contract. And you just basically fill in their information, fill in the price, create their custom payment plan if they are paying in full or if they're paying weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, like on specified dates, whatever that looks like for that particular client. You send it over once, and what it does is it sends them a proposal so they can see everything beautifully lined out. Then they can sign the contract and make their first payment. It's so simple. They can do it from their email box or from their phone in a matter of moments. And then everything is good to go. You're in compliance. You're all, ready to go with your contract, and everything is started right away. You can also set up follow-up emails. You can also set up what they call brochures, and you make beautiful introductions to your programs, to your courses, and to whatever it is that you have to offer. And these can be customized in so many different ways so that they are on brand with you. And the cool thing about HoneyBook is they have offered all of you guys 50% off for the entire first year. So this is one of the best bargains I think I've ever encountered. So to get this, you can actually start with a free trial, no credit card required, which I love. And but trust me, you'll love HoneyBook. So then if you're ready to get started, you just sign up. So if you want to get that 50% off, make sure you use our code. It's in the show notes, but it's share.honeybook.com/Amie, AMIE 935. So just click back over into the show notes if you want that, or it is share.honeybook.com/Amie 935, and that will secure your 50% off an already amazing low price for the entire first year of your subscription. I hope that you guys have a wonderful experience with HoneyBook. I know that I have. It's been a staple of my business, and it's been such a joy to use.
Hey everybody, I am so excited. I have the lovely and the one and only Lindsay Adamson, success coach, joining us today. And she is so amazing. And stay all the way till the very end because she has an amazing, amazing free gift for all of you guys. Lindsay, will you tell us a little bit about what it means to be a success coach and how you got there?
Well, hello, everybody, first of all. So I'm Lindsay Adamson, and like she said, I'm a success coach for women. So I work with the fiercest, most passionate women who just aren't willing to live a regular, comfortable, boring life anymore.
Amen.
And I help them create businesses that they're just so wildly obsessed and passionate about. And most of them come to me having felt for most of their lives like they have to change who they are to be successful. And my mission, both with my business and just with my message in life in general, is to help women just fully embrace who they are and realize that when you're being you and you're being authentic, when you're being vulnerable, that's when you're going to shine the brightest and find the most success. And so I help ladies get to the bottom of what's standing in the way of living success in every area of their life and their version of success. And we build businesses together that make them feel alive and allow them to live the life of their dreams. And it's my most favorite thing in the world to just see women break out of their shell and finally start living the life they were born to live. And so if I had to kind of encapsulate it, I would just say I help women to unleash the woman they were born to be and just achieve kick-ass results as a result of that.
And how did you decide that that's what you wanted to be when you grew up?
That actually is interesting because it kind of happened completely by accident. My whole life, I've wanted to be a singer ever since I was 3 years old. And my parents really wanted me to go to university after high school, and they were really passionate about getting a higher education. And I had worked a lot of waitressing jobs throughout the end of high school and beginning of university. And I was sick and tired of working that kind of job. And I ended up wanting just a higher paying sales job for the summertime in between my second and third year of school. And I randomly ended up spending 8 years at a door-to-door sales job. And I rose to the highest level in the company and became their sales director. But in the process, from my first month on the job, I was put in front of the room to teach people how to find success with their mindset and with sales and public speaking. And I just kind of fell into it and got really good at motivating and inspiring people and helping them to change their mindset and the way that they think to find more success. And when I quit that job, I spent a couple years traveling, and I ended up living in Costa Rica. And at that point, after working the same job for 8 years, I just got so lost and confused about what I wanted to do with my life. And I remember just spending a few months just trying every modality of healing I could possibly find to try and figure out where I was going with my life. Therapy, hypnosis, yoga, meditation, hiking, full moon ceremonies, you name it, I tried it. But I ended up, after living in Costa Rica for 2 years, moving home to Toronto, and I randomly attended a business seminar that just kind of reignited that passion for speaking and coaching. And I ended up hiring a business coach for the first year of starting my business. And unfortunately, it took someone else molding me and changing me into something I wasn't to really learn who I was and what I wanted. And so after spending an entire year creating a super successful business with tons of clients that wasn't at all fulfilling me, I just ditched the whole thing and finally stepped into my vision and dream of coaching women and really helping women to shine bright and stop feeling like they weren't good enough, because I had felt that way for so long in my life. And I finally felt so empowered, and I wanted to help women just feel better than they had ever felt in their lives. And I wanted to be able to have girly branding and use pink and sparkles and flowers. Yes. and stop trying to create business from this masculine energy that I had been taught for a decade. And that's kind of how it came to be. And now I have the privilege and blessing to coach thousands of women across the world and impact their lives and help them make more money than they've ever dreamed of, doing exactly what they love. And my heart is just so on fire just thinking about and talking about what I do.
So I can totally hear and feel your passion, basically in every word that you're saying. Like, I can tell that this is like the thing that lights you up.
Absolutely. That's an understatement.
Well, that makes it so much more fun though, don't you think?
Yes, totally. It really started out at first as just, hey, I'm good at this and I'm good at selling it. So this is what I'm going to do. And after kind of just totally trying to fit in my first year, I really equated myself to turning into this perfect business Barbie. And then ditching all of that, I really just honed in on this energy and started to attract these clients that just make me feel so in love with them. And ever since then, in the shift to working with women, I have just loved every minute of what I do. And I think that's why my clients are able to get such insane results. And that's a lesson for all women, that even if you've spent time building something and you've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it, if it doesn't feel like it's in alignment for you, you should always pivot, because you deserve to build and create something that makes you feel just wildly excited and obsessed with it. And you deserve to make amazing money doing just that. And it's totally within your realm of possibility. So why spend time doing something that doesn't light your heart on fire?
Yes. And I feel like, so many people just settle for a job or what they're supposed to do, or, punching the clock and collecting a paycheck every Friday, or whatever that looks like, because that's what, over our lives, society has told us to do. And one of the things that you first said, like in the beginning of this interview, was, you help women change so that they can show up as who they are instead of, basically conforming to society's norm. Do you want to expand on that just a little bit, like some of your thoughts and feelings around that?
Absolutely. And this topic makes me feel so emotional. I was actually just talking to my coach last week and telling her this story and about this type of thing. And I started to cry. I got tears in my eyes because so many women deal with this. But I spent most of my life just insanely shy. I was so shy growing up. And the reason that I was so shy is because I always felt different. I never felt like I wanted the things that most people wanted. I always felt like I had these really big dreams, but I was never around the right people to tell about them. And so I felt alone for a really long time. And for most of my childhood, I thought I was the only one who felt that way. But as I've started to work with some of the most incredible women I've ever met, I realized that so many people grew up feeling like they just weren't enough because they don't fit in with society and what's normal, and that comfort zone of struggle and barely getting by and counting down to Friday because you can't stand your job and all these things. And growing up, I felt like there just wasn't very many people who dreamed of changing the world and making an impact and seeing their name up in lights and being world famous and getting to change people's lives. And I was ashamed of that for such a long time. I felt like that was weird or abnormal, or people looked down on me because of it. And as a result, I just never felt like I fit in. And now I realize that so many women out there feel that way. And they feel like they have to change and mold and transform who they are, or only show parts of themselves to certain people. And to be honest with you, that kind of life is just so exhausting. And so when they start businesses, they look around to see what everyone else is doing, and they try to mold their business to fit in with what all the other women out there are doing. And they try to make their branding look like everyone else's. And they announce themselves on videos the same way that everyone else does. And it's like, I need to take a look at what everyone else is doing to make sure I fit in line with what's out there. And it takes a really super empowered woman who's in love with herself and who she really is from a deep soul level to stand on her own 2 feet and be like, fuck what everyone else is doing. F what everyone else is doing. This is me and I deserve to shine. And this is what I'm going to create because it feels amazing to my heart, to my soul. It keeps the fire within me burning. And when a woman feels empowered enough to make decisions from that energy, the money comes as a natural byproduct. She doesn't have to obsess over paying the bills. She doesn't have to obsess over if a piece of writing that she just did is good enough or if it'll get enough likes or comments. She's doing it because it fuels who she is and it feels amazing. And it's like a natural part of her, just like an arm or a hand or a leg. It's who she is. And it took me most of my life, I would say the last 29 out of 31 years to discover that we don't feel happy and fulfilled and fit in by pretending to be something we're not or hiding part of it. We reach that happy, fulfilled, wildly successful, sexy, confident life when we decide to just fully embrace who we are and shine brighter than we've ever shined before. And that's the secret in life. That's the magic sauce. Having the courage and confidence to shine bright in spite of being different from everyone else. And in embracing the difference, you'll find yourself connected, more connected than ever before.
I love that. And I feel like, I've seen this like a ton on Instagram and on Facebook. It's like a meme about, be the woman who helps other women fix their crown when it's crooked, but you don't have to be the woman that tells the whole world that you helped them type of thing.
Yeah.
I know that's not exactly right, but I feel like that is, helping somebody celebrate is so much fun. It's so amazing, but not being like, oh, so I was with Lindsay and guess what I did for her? That's so different. And instead of being like, yay, Lindsay, like these are the great things that are happening and I'm so excited for you. Like there's such a huge difference there. And I feel like, because I spent basically my whole life in that 9 to 5 type of setting, even though I never worked 9 to 5. Like I always wanted to start at 9, but that never worked out for me. So I feel like, we get used to that. And there's not a ton of people, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but there aren't a ton of people who do a whole lot of celebrating of other people's accomplishments in the corporate environment.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will tell you, celebration is a big part of me, my coaching style. And if you're ever enrolled in one of my programs, it is a big core concept that we go over every single day. In fact, my signature program, the Lioness Sisterhood program, we begin every single call with each woman telling us what she's so freaking proud of that week. And we all celebrate her as if it's New Year's Eve.
I
because
love that.
It's so important. Like women especially need to realize that celebrating someone doesn't diminish anything about you. It doesn't diminish your shine, your sparkle, your bright light. It only makes you shine brighter because one person stepping fully into their power inspires everyone around them to do the same.
I feel like that is so dang true. I feel like that's what the world is really missing. Like more people to just, and I will say even for myself, I sometimes struggle to like really celebrate because it's kind of like, oh, how exciting. And then you jump up and down and clap your hands. You tell your besties, you tell your coach like, oh my God, I had a $9,000 day, or I had a $17,000 month, or I did this, or I just signed a new client to my one-on-one or my mastermind. And everybody's really excited for you. But then it's kind of like, well, what do you actually do to celebrate? So for me, I would love to hear what you do.
Well, I think that all of those amazing big milestones that you just mentioned and celebrating with your coach or your close friends is so important. But one thing that I began to realize in my life is that when we only celebrate those big, huge milestones, what happens is that our sense of self-worth gets strongly attached and connected to milestones. And so we only truly feel worthy when we're achieving big things. And we really seek validation from others because when we do achieve those big things, we want to tell people about them. But in between achieving those big things, we spend all our time not feeling good enough because we're chasing that high of that validation. And I very much so, I have no problem admitting this. Like, I am an open book, but I very much so used to be that girl. I was making six figures from the time I was 21 years old. And no matter what would happen, I would win an award or get a promotion or whatever happened, I would only feel proud for like 2.5 seconds right when it happened. And the minute that energy, that adrenaline passed, I would go right back to just feeling not good enough. For years, it went on that way. And I kept thinking that no matter if I just achieve that next big thing, then I'll finally feel good enough. If I finally do this, if I finally do that, if I hit this milestone, and no matter what, I kept achieving more and that energy never shifted. And so about 2.5 years ago, I made a conscious decision to practice something new that was absolutely life changing to me. And one thing as human beings that we need to realize is that everything new takes practice. I know that we realize it on a physical level, like if you're going to learn a new sport or a new talent or skill that you have to practice. Just like if you were learning to play the guitar, you'd have to go to lessons and practice in between, and then you'd get better. But I don't think a lot of human beings realize that when it comes to emotional things, that it takes practice as well. And so about 2.5 years ago, I decided to incorporate celebration, praise, and pride into my everyday rituals. And it became a real manifestation process. And if you know me, you know I'm the queen of manifestation. There's nothing I love to talk about more. But basically what I started to practice doing is celebrating in the small moments every single day. And I'm not going to lie, at first it felt really super unnatural and over exaggerated because I committed myself to celebrating and telling myself how proud I was of myself for every 1%, 1 inch change and shift in the right direction. So if I was at the gym and I was able to run on the treadmill 1 minute longer than the day before, or if I was able to lift 1 extra rep in that set, I would say in my head, oh my God, Lindsay, I am so proud of you. And that kind of emerged into journaling and doing a lot of worthiness affirmations and practicing celebrating on my own and with my clients and with my coach and just incorporating it as an everyday natural habit and ritual. And at first it took practice and I had to consciously be aware and awake and remind myself. But as I began to do it more and more often, it became autopilot. And now throughout every single day, I celebrate and I tell myself I'm proud of myself probably a dozen times a day. And it's something I really drill home with my clients because most people do not feel good enough and therefore they do not feel worthy. They don't feel proud of themselves. And I really get the women in my programs, in my coaching to start praising themselves like crazy. Because as women and as people in general, we always think that we can hate ourselves into change. Oh my God, why did you do this? This needs to stop. You need to stop doing this. You need to stop eating that. This needs to shift. That needs to change. But the real secret is that human beings will change far more quickly and permanently when you use praise, celebration, and love to celebrate the things you love that you're doing. And the bad things or the not so good things that you want to change will just magically melt away.
Yes.
So that was a long-winded answer, but that's how I celebrate every single day.
I love it.
Yeah, it's so important.
So I know that, and I often talk about how women, I think especially, are their own worst critics. If you could give our listeners some advice on how to shift into like that praise without feeling cocky or like arrogant, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just want to be so super transparent and honest. Mm-hmm. Are you okay with me swearing occasionally, by the way?
Yeah, totally fine.
Okay.
I've even got my little earmuffs on. I can't even hear you, and they don't listen to the show. So
This is how I want to answer that question. Who the fuck cares if you're cocky and arrogant? I think our whole lives we're like trained and conditioned to be ladylike. And we're taught not to toot our own horns and to hold back and not like fully shine. And to be honest with you, like, I don't really know that many people who are like actually cocky and arrogant. As women, because we're taught to be ladylike, we think that if we ever talk about ourselves for more than 2.5 seconds, that we're being arrogant or cocky, and we just hold back and pull the reins. Yes. I think that you need to realize that you're a big fucking deal. And that was something that my coach taught me, that I kind of ripple onto my clients and say to myself all the time whenever I'm getting self-conscious, like, you are a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
You're a big deal. Shine bright. Like, that, we don't need to focus on how we can practice pride without being arrogant. We need to realize what arrogance actually is. And that's a person who's like a narcissist who can't stop talking about themselves and who can't listen to you talk about yourself because they're so obsessed with being in the spotlight at all times. But I know that 99% of you who are listening are not that person. And so this advice is for you, the 99% who are not that person. It's time to invite yourself to shine more often. It's time to invite yourself to toot your own horn a little more often because you deserve the spotlight. And that's exactly what I tell my clients. Like, in our group, you can shine any time of the day. You get to be in the spotlight. You get to toot your own horn and you get to celebrate constantly. And we want to celebrate you constantly because women need to learn that. Women need to learn that they deserve to be celebrated. They are worthy, they are deserving, and they are so much more than enough. And so don't worry about being cocky. Don't worry about being arrogant. Shine, baby. Just shine. Sparkle. Do all the things.
I love that. I totally love that. And that's something that, it's something that I work on too, because it's like, I know I can help so many women, yet it's hard for me to like get out there and be like, hey, you guys, look at me. I'm kind of a big deal. You know what I mean? So for those of you guys who probably don't know, most of you guys probably don't know, Lindsay and I, we share a coach. And so she's always telling me like, just get out there and be a big deal, you know? And so for me, it's kind of like, all right, how do I actually put those things into motion? Because I have some unsupportive people in my life who, when you do get out there and you talk about your accomplishments or whatever, they say really terrible things.
That's hard. And you know what? That's when we have to be real with ourselves. So one, I always tell my clients, like, you have got to train the people in your life and teach them how to treat you, teach them how to support you because they cannot read your mind. And so that's one side of it. But another side is some people just won't change and they're so stuck in their patterns. And we have to ask ourselves, like, does that person belong in my life? Sometimes, unfortunately, it's family members. And then what I tell my clients to do is, hey, like, as much as this feels weird, keep your business and your family separate. Like, delete them off social media. You don't need your mom on Facebook. You can just FaceTime her whenever you want to see her and fill her in on what parts of your life you want to fill her in with. But if your parents or if a family member that you don't want to cut out of your life is not being supportive, then you've got to choose how that relationship with them is going to look. But as long as you're worried about being arrogant or what someone's going to think or say, you're not going to be able to fully open yourself up to let your brilliance and magic shine. And that's doing a disservice to the world. And that's incredibly selfish because there's someone out there who needs you, who needs that magic, and they're going through a really difficult time in their lives. And what you've got is exactly what they need. And so as long as you're sitting around worried about what people are thinking of you, they're not getting what they need. And so you have a responsibility to step up and do whatever it takes to just really hone in on your magic and not have all those worries in your mind. And that, again, is just going to take practice.
Yep. I totally, totally agree. Let's talk about, I know you have a free gift. Let's talk a little bit about this gift called Crystal Clarity. So all the listeners know that I'm woo-woo. I have what my husband calls a really fancy rock collection, and I love crystals. So take us through what everybody can expect from this.
It was a little play on words, but I think a big challenge that new entrepreneurs or even women who are seasoned entrepreneurs and trying to get to that next level are facing is a lack of clarity in their vision. And I am so insanely passionate about having a powerful and compelling vision for your life, for your future, for your business, because that's exactly how you're going to call it in and manifest it really powerfully and really magically. And so if you don't have clarity about exactly what you want the next year of your life to look like, to feel like, to smell like, to just be, then it's impossible to call in something that you are unaware of. And I think so many people struggle with clarity, or they have all these ideas swirling around in their minds, but they just can't connect the dots. Or they're at a level of their life and they're stuck on how to get to that next level. So I created this meditation and guide. It's a visualization that's going to allow you to get out of your head and into your heart and soul to just get complete clarity on exactly what it is that you want and what you want to call in. And then it's time to move forwards into that manifestation work to start attracting it in your life. But the first step is always getting clear. And so I always say it's not going to serve you to show up at Starbucks and say, hey, I want coffee.
Yeah.
Because if that's all you know, you're going to not get what you want. And so if you know that you want a half calf venti soy latte with a sprinkle of cinnamon and 1 shot of sugar-free vanilla, and that's what you boldly ask for, that's exactly what you're going to get. But unless you know that that's what you want, that ain't what you're going to get, sister.
And knowing that if they get it wrong, that you can unapologetically ask them to make it right.
Exactly. And so the universe works the same way, babe. So if you want to call in the juiciest, sexiest order for your life, you've got to know exactly what to ask for. And so this meditation is all around getting you super crystal clear clarity on that so that you can manifest brilliance and magic into your life because that's what you deserve.
Yay. I love that. So I told my husband last night, some people are probably going to be like, that's stupid, but I don't care. So we were watching, we love the Avengers movies, which this has nothing to do with business, but it sort of does. So the Avengers movies have nothing to do with business, but we were watching Doctor Strange because it's the only one of the Avenger movies I hadn't seen, but he's like, babe, we have to go see the brand new Avengers movie when it comes out. I'm like, all right, well, let me get caught up. And, the guy is freaking magic, and there's this woman who teaches him the magic. And so and in my old life, I say my past life, but not like my actual past life. I mean, like my life 10 years ago, I would have never, ever probably thought this. And I sure as hell would have never said it out loud. But I was like, I want to be magic like that. And then I start so she opens this book and she's showing it to him, and this guy's, a neurosurgeon, and he's very practical and logical and technical. And she shows him this thing, like, this is your chart. This is what you need to learn. And my husband's kind of like, oh, what is that? I'm like, those are your chakras. And he goes, what's a chakra? And so I'm trying to explain it to him, and he's giving me this look, and I'm like, see, if I was magic, I could just help you with this, So, I feel like and not everybody evolves in this way, but I feel like the people who I surround myself with, like you and my biz besties and stuff, I told my biz besties the other day, I'm like, when we met a year ago, we didn't know one woo woo from the other. And now we're practically witches, right? We've got the crystals and the mantras and the meditations and all the things, but we surround ourselves with other people who do.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So kind of off topic.
No, but that's so key. And I don't think people realize how much you are impacted by the people you spend your time with. everyone and their mom has heard that saying about you are the sum total of your 5 friends.
Yep.
But understanding something intellectually and actually like fully implementing it into your life are 2 separate things. And so many people hang on to relationships that are no longer serving them just because they've been in their lives for so long, or it feels awkward or weird to end things. But just like you said, like when you spend time around people who nurture your brilliance, who encourage your magic, who encourage you to shine and are on a similar path and they're equally ambitious, you will be shocked at what you can create and how you can transform in such a short period of time. It's insane.
Yes. I totally agree. And I love watching people evolve. And in the beginning of my business, I started working with people who were new in their business and just seeing that evolution of, coming to me with, sometimes they'd be like, I don't even know where to start, to this is not what I want. And really knowing that they were able to find true alignment, and then they're thriving.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love that.
Yeah, it's so awesome. All right, so I have like a random question that I wanted to ask you just for fun. If you
Okay.
could choose your spirit animal, what would it be?
Easy. Lioness.
Yes, I love that.
I feel really silly that we've been talking for half an hour and I haven't actually mentioned this yet. But my business is called The Hungry Lioness, because I work with women who are super hungry and passionate for wild, sexy success. And my whole business surrounds sisterhood, and lionesses hunt in a pack, and they actually co-mother their children, and they like are very much so supportive and non-competitive towards each other. And they're very fierce, but super loving. And that just perfectly describes who I am, and then also who I attract into my world. So that would be my answer.
That is beautiful. I freaking love that. As we get wrapping up here, tell us where our listeners can find you, like in all the places.
Okay. So you can find me under Lindsay Adamson Official on Instagram. I would absolutely love for you to join our community on Facebook. It's called The Hungry Lioness, and we are a badass, fierce group of women who support each other and help each other grow. And of course, you can look me up on Facebook under Lindsay Adamson.
And that's Lindsay with an S-A-Y, you guys.
Yes, or lindsayadamson.com. My new website's actually launching in the next few weeks, so I'm super excited about that.
Yay! It's going to be beautiful. I can already tell. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to share you with all of our listeners and really just put some of your magic out there into the world, because let's just face it, we need more of this kind of magic floating around instead of some of the garbage that's out there floating around.
Thank you so much for that. I have loved chatting with you. And just for any of you out there listening, I know that sometimes you can question your worth and your ideas and your dreams, but I just wanted to leave you with this message. You are so totally good enough. And the second that you realize that and just fully step into your magic, you are going to blow yourself and the world away with what you're able to create. And so I want to invite you right here, right now, to just decide that you're good enough and show up in the world as if, because if you could see yourself the way that everyone around you sees you, you'd already be doing it, because you're freaking amazing. And so I want to see you fully embrace your magic and shine bright.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And I absolutely love that. You guys, I just love and adore Lindsay. And if you guys loved this episode and you loved Lindsay, make sure that you, first of all, go over and you can just swipe up and grab her link to her freebie and her free gift, the Crystal Clarity Meditation. It's in the show notes, but also feel free to leave us a 5-star review and all the love for Lindsay right here in the the podcast reviews, and we would love, love, love to see how much you guys just loved this episode. So thank you so much for being on, Lindsay, and I can't wait to share you with our audience.
Aw, thank you so much. I've absolutely loved connecting with you.
It's been my pleasure.